Welcome, gorgeous soul, to Dharma Fest 2024. And I am so honored and excited to explore today and to dive into heart aligned money making for today and for the rest of your life. And our special guest and Fest Sesh guide is Anne-Claire Meret, and she is here as a an activation first and foremost. Her presence is so loving, and everything is pouring from that heart space. And she is a best-selling author, and her latest book, Millionaire from the Heart, is so beautiful and truly a an offering that will support you that anything is possible when you are operating from the heart, and your heart centers, I would say, the womb of your heart in so many ways. So welcome, and Claire, it is such a beautiful gift to have you here with us and celebrating each and every soul's unique expression of their embodiment of co-creation. And I would just love to welcome you into this space.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for creating what you're creating in the world and helping people be more aligned with who they truly are so that they can give their best and so that we can co-create the most beautiful world that we want to create together.
I absolutely, it's such an honor and a joy to do this work, and uh, really the heart work that we are creating. And we're just sharing a little bit about visionary leadership and anchoring into the center of where that can come from that's sustainable, and sort of the birthplace of where this really, like, this, I would say, this blossoming of your Dharma in terms of the work that you are doing with heart activation. And what is it in your story and your Dharma embodiment journey that really took off in this direction?
Hmm. Well, I didn't always live like that. Or maybe I did when I was a child, because it's pretty easy when we're children. And then I didn't because of difficulties in my family and because the people around me were not living from the heart. And they were very conventional and tense. There was a lot of stress. There was a lot of verbal violence, and there was alcoholism. And I felt it was very challenging actually to grow up in this family. And just all around me, I didn't have very good examples for what was possible, what else was possible to thrive. It felt like it was almost always surviving, taking this pill so that I can cope with what was, because this is how I saw my parents do. And then in my late 20s, I came across naturopathy because I was really sick of being always tired and always an insomniac and always anxious. And I went to a hospital, and that hospital was specialized in studying people's sleep. And I had all the electrodes put on my head and all the things. And then at the end, they said, "You don't have any physical problems that we can fix, but we can send you to a naturopath and you can learn how to create beautiful days so that you can have good nights."
Mm.
And up to that point, I was living upside down. So because I had terrible nights, I had awful days. So I had to learn how to rewire myself so that I could function, I could make things in the right way. And because I did it for my health and the way I was experiencing days and nights, then I understood that I could do it for other areas of life. So I did it with, my love life, which is one of my big topics. I did it with money. I did it with other choices. And this is amazing to see what's possible when you put your heart to it, and also to eat. And then when you understand what you're capable of, you start being curious about it, more curious about it. And then you discover that there is a whole potential that you didn't have access before because you believed what was told to you. or you continue, doing what you witnessed. But actually, you're so much more than what you witnessed before. There's so much more to life than that. So because I got more curious and because I understood that I was more powerful than I thought I was, I dedicated my life to that, And for me, regarding abundance, which is a beautiful topic, I think that we are always bathing in abundance. There are always opportunities to be grateful and to feel the feeling of abundance and to actually activate. I call them waterfalls of abundance. It's always possible to activate new waterfalls of abundance, but we don't see them most of the time because we try to be in control according to what we think we should be doing instead of being open to the waterfalls, which are all around. We judge them, we think it's not possible. We believe it's not for us. And yeah, we're just not open. So the whole work, I believe, is to just work on the blockages that are between us and abundance. It's like the quote, I like the parallel with love. Rumi says that too. The poet Rumi. He says, don't look for love, look for the barriers, the limits that you put between you and love, because it's all around. So you should just be focused on the limits, the resistance, so that you can just feel it because it's already there.
Yes. I I completely um resonate with what you're sharing because I think that a lot of aligning with your soul calling or your heart's desires are releasing what what doesn't and what you're holding on to that's just from conditioning or past lives or I mean so much just but that is a tender journey in and of itself like you were sharing, and it creates so much intimacy when you do that journey with yourself that it is it's so beautiful how then you brought that into every I mean it's like how they say how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so you really can apply, especially like with a holistic embodiment, seeing life as not these like over here is work, over here is relationship, all like sectioning off your life that your whole for you, you're expressing a holistic, of course, as a naturopath, like it's not just
Has
a
to be
way
this way.
to be healthy or physically, it's a holistic for your whole being, your whole life. So thank you. And I think so many of us, including myself, um, can resonate with, a really traumatizing in so many ways or unsupportive upbringing and a family life, and you don't realize how much it can continue to have such power over you. And
Yeah.
there's no shame in it, there's no blame in it. We all have our piece of the pie to heal and to transmute, I feel like. So it's an honor to transmute and work on those pathways that we inherited.
Yeah. And I believe that if we were given those cards to play with, it means we're capable to. It means there is a reason why it's for us because we're able to transmute that. We're able to make something out of them, make the most of what was given to us. And one of the key components of creating the most beautiful life you want to create, including wealth, is to really be embody the person that you wish you had next to you when you were a kid. Meaning stopping self-betrayal, really being there for yourself, really saying no to what you want to say no to, and saying real yeses to what you want to say yes to, all those things. And it starts with self-leadership. And when you start trusting yourself more, I believe you trust life more too. And others start to trust you more too. Then when you have this exchange of trust, then things can flow freely. As before, it was more like tense, protective and not open to receive.
So when you're speaking about trust, that in and of itself, I feel like has a specific, um, I want to say like, excuse me, like a frequency that, you know what I mean? Where you were saying like even your body language, like where you're kind of in this protective versus like this open space. And, I think trust is, it's such a huge, it's such a huge part of it. And I love that this came up because I don't think that it's talked about as much um as that would be beneficial for sure. And when we're speaking about living from the heart, that can be a vulnerable, exposed, you open certainly, but just depending on and I can say, and I'm sure that there are so many gorgeous souls who are um, very sensitive beings. I mean, we all are, but there are some of us that are just, I mean, we have like 10,000 feelers on us. And so trust is a huge part of our journey to find allowing or seeing those waterfalls that you're speaking about so we can just like let them just bathe in their beauty. So can you share a little bit about um trust and how we can find more trust within ourselves? You said that we trust ourselves more, so can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. I'm going to talk about trust when with talking about change,
Hmm.
because we're always afraid to change because it's the unknown. And the unknown is so scary that we would rather continue what we know, although it might be uncomfortable and tight, and we think that we don't want it anymore, but actually it's still comfortable because we know what to expect. And the unknown is like this dark void where we think, oh my God, it can be worse than my actual situation. Then usually what we do is that we brace ourselves and we freeze and we think, oh, I'll do that later, start that podcast or buy this new training so that I can evolve in my business or whatever, or be self-employed or move country or whatever, is our dream. We just wait, or we just think that maybe the change should come from outside instead of coming from us. If it should happen, if it's meant to be, something will happen to me, blah, blah, blah. But I believe in proactivity, in being proactive. And in order to be proactive, you need to think that the best is yet to come. But when you don't come from that place where your parents told you, oh, be excited about the future because the future is bright. I didn't have that. My parents told me, be careful. That was the thing. Like, I remember being on the phone with them just like 5 years ago. And my dad said, be careful at the end of the conversation. I said, never again tell me to be careful, please. Just tell me be happy, or yes, go for it. I'm here with you, or whatever you want, anything else, but be careful. So I come from this be careful, narrative. And I had to rewire that. And to rewire that, I didn't do it myself. I did it with therapists and with coaches to understand why I was so frightened by change and how I could be actually excited by change. By understanding that the feeling in my body is not necessarily anxiety. It can be anxiety, but it can also be excitement. But because I'm so used to label it as anxiety, I just put something very negative and dark because of how I feel instead of thinking, oh, maybe I'm excited and it's a little bit uncomfortable because it's new, but this is excitement. And then I filled images in my mind, and I still do it to that day. And it's actually a game that I have with my husband, Christian. We play a game that we call Wouldn't It Be Nice If? And I actually printed a new rug for our future home. We're moving in next week. And
Ooh,
I printed it, written, wouldn't it be nice if? And there's a magician next to it, the card, the tarot card, magician. And we play that game so that we have more ideas about the future, how brighter and brighter it can be. So we replace the dark void by beautiful images. And because we are creators, whatever we can imagine, we can we can make happen. So you get to decide. You can either choose that the catastrophic scenarios that come to you naturally to fill that void might happen, and yes, then you'd better prepare for that future. Or you can choose proactively to imagine the brightest future possible. And you can do it in every area of life, your health, I'm 41 years old and I know that I'm going towards menopause in the next few years. Let me tell you that menopause is going to be amazing
yes.
because the future that I'm painting in my vision is going to be awesome. So you can do it in every area of your life. And I find that a lot of people who have goals, it's difficult for them often to move towards their goal because they don't know what's behind that success. Let's say you want to write a book and you think that if that book is finished, this is the end because this is the next big thing that you want to achieve. But behind it, you don't know what's next. Then you might not do the book at all. You will procrastinate because you're afraid of the dark void that's behind it. But if you train yourself imagining that, oh, behind that beautiful project, there will be something even more beautiful, and then something even more beautiful, then you set yourself in motion because you know that this first experience will lead to the second experience, and then the third, and the journey will unfold this way, and it's going to be magnificent.
Yes,
That makes sense?
absolutely. And it's really interesting because yesterday, so speaking completely vulnerably, I've been healing codependency, and there's Melody Beatty is an author who she's just amazing, and she was writing about how at the end it was like God, give me the strength to know how the story ends by living until the end of it instead of wanting someone to read to me how it ends. It's like beforehand, it's like that willingness to and it was also synchronistic because I was just speaking with someone about how um it's like in ever the the plant continues to go through cycles and seasons, and the petals drop and then the seeds come, and then it looks like the plant's dead, and then the spring comes and there's new life, and it's just like, but over time that let's say it's even a raspberry bush because we have one outside. Since we've been here 3 years, it started out like one shoot and it was wild. it, we didn't plant it, and now so many berries are there, and it's just so beautiful, but it looks like it's completely dead every winter, and so it's like for us, I think in so many ways, and even in spirituality, it's like when people talk about ascension and these kind of things, and it's like, well, I think that your story isn't finished until the, the that time when you drop your robes, as they say in indigenous cultures, when you you depart from this physical realm. And so up until that point, it's game on, like there's always gonna be that which you described, that womb space of that dark void that we meet after the culmination and completion. Like in the tarot you mentioned, like the world, that fulfillment, that achievement, and then you come back around and then you're the fool again. And it's that journey continuously. I love that you brought it up, and I would just love to share because I feel like this is a part of something that I would love for you to share on. But I drew this card. There was our waiting results. This correlates to the Seven of Pentacles. And so one of the other things I picked up on what you were sharing was that it is the planting of the seed is also, it's not instant. It's taking aligned action. It's, you were saying, like the leadership of the self. And we don't know exactly, we may think we have a label for the seed that we're planting, but in the process of tending to it, it grows and it morphs and shifts and changes, and that requires trust in the process too. But we may not always even see the fruits of our labor directly, especially in this kind of like spiritual work, but we can feel it. So planting the seeds for the future and the heart aligned and soul aligned prosperity is a vision that we are anchoring in. So I would just love for you to take your visionary leadership and bring us into this space of what we can co-create together, not just for our generation, for our personal lives, but for the future. And we often speak of the seven generations to come, like becoming that ancestor. Um, could just bring us into this beautiful vision with you.
Yeah. When we talk about time, I believe that it does not exist in a way, it's there is always now. Try to be tomorrow, it's impossible. Try to be yesterday, it's impossible. It's always now.
Right.
And what's the most important is the interpretation that we make of the past, what we bring from the past into the now, and to be able to feel the future in the now. And as before we started the recording, I said something. I said, I hope more and more people will understand that we can co-create this beautiful world in the most abundant way possible, that we all are able to envision in our hearts. We know it's possible. I live there most of the time, because the people who surround me, they're mostly like me, thinking that anything is possible. And together, there's a lot of generosity and there's a lot of creative energy. And it's a choice to stay there and to live there, even when the results are not there yet. And I think it's important to talk about it. And there is a question that helps me all the time. It's what if I had all the money and all the time in the world? What would I do? And usually the same thing. I would do the same thing, if I would have, 100 times more money, 1,000 times more money and more time, I would do the same thing. Then it shows me that I'm truly aligned with my soul mission, who I am, and the impact that I'm supposed to have in this world. And to the people listening to us right now, I want to invite you to ask this question for yourself and figure out if there is a big difference, how you can bridge the gap. Like, what action can you take so that you can be more aligned with what you're meant to be doing here in this world, the impact that you're meant to have, how you're meant to serve. If it's radically different than what you're currently doing, well, maybe it's time for a change. And it doesn't have to be a change which is completely radical at the beginning. Maybe you still need that 9 to 5 job, but what can you do in the evening instead of watching Netflix? What can you do in the weekend instead of going to the clubs? What can you do so that you get closer and closer to taking aligned action every single day, and not depending on the results, but because it's who you are and that's what you're meant to be in this world.
And I think that kind of circles back through to where you were starting as being the person that you wish you had as a child. Because when we allow ourselves to tap into the creative force, and we were talking about the Shakti energy that is within all of us, that is truly a a wealth of energy, and it can access like the pure innocence of our being, that it's like we remember when we go into that space the truth that anything is possible. As children, we know that truth in our, you know, I know so many of us had painful childhoods, but in our innocence, we did know. And in our play, there was a possibility, and maybe we lost track of that. But what you're saying, it just like when you were speaking, I'm like, my inner child was just like, yes, like it's so good. Like there's a reason why I called this Dharma Fest. I could call it the anything other than festival, but like this is celebration. Like that's the joy in me. That's the intention, that this is a beautiful, fun, pleasurable experience like that life is. And so yeah, I'm like playing in my when you said that, my heart was just in so
Yeah.
much joy.
For me, this is true wealth because wealth is for me an energy of vitality. It's just pure life. And I used to be a very serious child. And also when I grew up, adolescent and then young adult, I was so serious. And now I get to be more playful. I feel lighter because I think I removed, layers of fears and conditioning. And then what's remaining is just a spark of joy and the bubble of creativity that I was meant to be. Yeah.
That you truly are. You truly are. And I think you need that you have been guided to and supported and have alchemized all of that within yourself, because you truly are a radiant being. And when I look at you and I hear your voice and I feel you and I see what you're creating, it's it is this when and I'm just going to say this, I don't know why this is coming up, but I feel like this is really important for all of us, because something I want to say about trust is that when you tap into your heart and you are seeking support in your life, then you will know when you feel the transformation that someone is sharing with you. You will feel in your heart. You can feel the energy of that being who is sharing this information with you inside yourself. And if you can't feel it, if you can't trust that your heart knows even before this one, is this the right teacher for me? Is this like, of course, explore, but just, this goes for anything. Like you were saying, what's going to close the gap? Sometimes it is getting support from a mentor, or looking at your relationships and things like that, but like your heart knows. And when so so my heart knows, this is such an embody, because even being in the presence of someone, you can feel the transmission of their work. And so I just want to say thank you, and it's just so beautiful. And I would just, and my I was like tired of keeping uh my robe up. But if you could support us, and I think now I know why that came through, because I would love to transition into a heart healing activation space. Claire has so lovingly been invited and has received that invitation to take us into this transformational sacred space. So I say that because I'm like so excited to myself surrender and receive, and be in that space with you.
I'd love to. So I'm going to put headphones because they're starting cutting the rice fields next to me. Can you hear me well?
Mm,
Okay,
yes.
great. So I invite you to take a nice seat, just a sitting position that's comfortable for you. If you're driving, obviously, please do this activation later. And you may close your eyes when you're ready. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do, but to feel your presence in this room. Feel the temperature in the air, the weight of your body, the fabric below your hands, the posture of your back and legs, and breathe. You don't need to force it. Just breathe gently without trying to control the breath. And just put your awareness on the air coming in and going out. Coming in and going out. There's nowhere to go but here. And as you breathe, I invite you to imagine that there are roots that you can feel growing from your pelvis through your legs, all the way down to the earth. And you feel connected to the center of the earth, grounded, supported, and nourished. Allow yourself to breathe into those roots. And then I invite you to connect with the top of your head. And you will imagine a ray of light connecting you to your unique soul star, a divine place. You don't even need to know its name. You just feel deeply connected to this place in the galaxy. And feel how you're always connected, but sometimes you forget. And just breathe into it. And as you feel grounded and divinely guided, you may want to adjust your posture to let the energy flow between the sky and the ground. And now you will imagine a bubble all around you. And this bubble contains your energy field. And you're going to clean it. So I invite you to clean both inside of you and all around you. And you may choose your tool. If you want to imagine a broom, a vacuum, whatever you want, feel free to choose. I like to blow the dust and push it away outside of the bubble with my hands. The idea is to get rid of what's no longer necessary. I get to decide, I get to choose to let go of limiting beliefs about myself, the judgment of others, past ideas no longer wanted in this life, everything that's not serving me. I let it go. And when the place is clear, I can invite a pure, fresh energy from source. And I like to invite it to flow from my heart, through my heart. So we're all connected to source and we don't need to have, someone in the middle. It's just, this is divine connection that we can all access. So you open this door, and you let Source inspire you through your heart and fill your whole body in every cell. And as Source is refreshing you with fresh energy, it takes on a unique color, a unique shape, a unique vibration, a movement, a music, a taste even, because it's passing through you and nobody else is you. And as it fills you up, it overflows and fill in the bubble. Bathe in this vibration and feel this uniqueness. And as you feel it, you may want to put a hand on your heart if you wish, and listen to what it has to say to you. What's its message today for you? Welcome the message, and you can thank Source for it. And I'm going to give you a minute. And if you have a question to ask, use the opportunity to be in that space to ask for guidance from your own connection to Source. You can thank for the message again and realize that you can always come back to that space. Whatever happens in your life, you get to choose to clear the space, welcome a fresh energy, and let yourself be inspired from your own heart. Whenever you're ready, you will reconnect with your physical sensations, your breath. You're going to move a little bit on your chair, move your fingers, move your toes. You can stretch. And when the time is right, you can open your eyes. And I suggest that you take a pen and a piece of paper and write the messages so that you don't forget about them. And when it's done, I have a little bit more for you, a little bit more of an exercise to continue later on. I would like to invite you to spot when you're particularly in your heart, when you feel that you're in your heart, and what kind of physical sensations are associated with it. For example, when I'm in my heart, I feel younger. I feel excited. I feel very loving and compassionate. Physically, I feel more relaxed. Like, for example, my jaw is not tense. I have great appetite. I feel good in my body. I want to move. I want to dance. I also feel more eager to meet people. Like, I'm more social and I sleep better, things like that. And the opposite is when I'm not in my heart, how do I feel? So I invite you also to ask yourself this question: when you're not in your heart, how do you feel? And usually I'm tense. I want to retreat from the world. My jaw is super tight. My belly is like cramping. I'm not necessarily hungry or not for the right type of food. I don't sleep well, or I wake up like 1,000 of times in the night. I feel that what I'm doing is never good enough, so that I can feel the difference. And then when you have this level of awareness, I invite you to check what type of environment is favorable to be more in my heart? What type of people surround me when I'm more in my heart? What type of activity am I doing? And then the opposite, when I'm not in my heart, when is that? Is it the environment? What type of people? And then you must act accordingly, you know? This is for me being like a good parent to yourself. Like, oh, this environment is not good for me. When I watch Netflix all night, I don't feel great. I'm not in my heart, you know? Or when I scroll on Instagram and compare myself, I'm not in my heart. But when I go in nature or when I meet this specific friend with whom I have great conversations and I feel empowered with, oh my God, I'm so much in my heart. Why don't I do that more instead of scrolling? And then it's a choice of discipline to nurture more than the other. And then the more you do it, the more it takes, your whole life. And it seems simple like this because it is, but it starts with a choice. And I hope it will help you.
When you were speaking, I saw like a sculptor, like or you could even think of it as like cooking. What ingredients, whatever ingredients you're putting in is going to make the flavor. It's going to make the texture. It's going to make, the nutrition. I really, I love that. And to embody that connection with your physical form that has so much wisdom. Truly, there's a reason why your consciousness is married with this physical form. It is a blessing in this life, and it was such a blessing to be with you, Claire, and a true gift. I'm still recalibrating, but it was so beautiful. I had the most incredible message and from my journey with you, and I want to share it with everyone that that message. Oh my gosh, what will you do knowing that? Like what you were saying, what would you do if you trusted that message? What actions would you take if you trusted that message that you received? So, Claire, is there anything you would like to share with us before we close the Sacred Best session? And if you brought a gift for us, if you would just share that with us a little bit, and everyone will be able to access that both on your invitation and your email that you received today, as well as in the portal with this video. So
Yeah. I want to add that everybody is immensely capable. And even if you were never told that you are immensely capable, you are. And I'm not special. I'm special in the sense that I'm me and you're you, but I'm not like more special, made of another type of blood or whatever, you know? Everybody is just special in their own way. And everybody can create beautiful success on their own terms and great levels of abundance and all the things that they desire. So just put your heart to eat and be committed, really go for it. And don't look back and don't doubt because doubt is like insidious and makes us lose so much energy. Just go for it and just commit. That's what I want to share. Commit. I think there is a lack of commitment today. People do a little bit of things and that's it. Oh, it's not really working. I'm going to drop it. No, commit. Do it for like 3 months. Do it for 6 months. Do it for a year. Do it for 3 years. And look at the fruits of your garden. Commit to it. This is amazing.
exactly.
Yes.
The Seven of Pentacles, exactly. Commit
Yeah.
to it. The card says awaiting results. It's not
Yeah.
instantaneous.
Exactly.
This is
I'm not an overnight success. I am not here to sell, sparkles and stuff like as if it's like, oh my God, that's so easy and overnight. No, not at all. It's just, but I like it because it's good. If you get a success like this in a second, quite often you lose it like this too, because you're not solid. You're not able to hold it. Your nervous system is not ready. You just have to build yourself to it. You have to learn the skills and get comfortable with it, and then you can expand. So there, it's a journey. Just love the journey and commit to the journey. And yes, I do have a gift. So I wrote a book called Millionaire from the Heart, and this is actually this book. And Millionaire from the Heart is available in audio and paperback and Kindle. And I'm gifting you the introduction, the preface, and the first chapter that you can download in PDF and audio version if you prefer the audio. I'm very much audio, so I love audiobooks. So there is a link that I've shared with you that you can access the page where you can download all of this for you to have a taste of this work that I do. And this is that groundwork because it's the beginning of the book. It's ground foundational work. So I hope you like.
Thank you. I'm excited to dive in. I am I am so inspired by everything that you shared today, and I I just want to extend that like light, that energy forward to everyone who is here in this space with us, that we truly are co-creating. And this, I encourage you to, click on that and download her transmission and let it activate, right? Like just to taste the seed and see where it, I always get downloads while I'm reading and receiving also from people. So spirit may be working through Unclear as well for you to get some more of this magic that she shared with us today. And thank you for your generous, beautiful, abundant waterfall spirit. I feel like you have the waterfall energy in a way that is part of who you are, is the waterfall.
We
So
all are.
beautiful. Yeah. But
Yeah.
you have that energy. I think
I give it to you.
that's really beautiful.
Pass it on.
Some of us are like the fertile soil channelers and but like I'm feeling the water. I feel the waterfall as the metaphor is also like a mirror of your medicine also. So thank you so very much. Definitely reach out, connect with Anne Claire. Give us your feedback in the form below this Fest Sesh. We want to hear from you. Share with us if you want to anchor in what you received in your heart activation, your guided meditation. We'd love to hear from you and just support you on your journey. And until we meet again, beautiful soul. Oh my gosh, we're sending so much love to you and joy and just, oh my gosh. Enjoy this day. Enjoy this moment. I see the hearts. How did you do that? I wanna do
It's
it.
the reaction.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh. Can I do it? I want to do my hearts. Yes. Oh, mine
It's
just did
different.
a stayed. Okay, well, we're gonna end it on a heart. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Anne
Yeah.
Claire, for bringing your light, your wisdom, your waterfall gifts, and such an honor. Thank you. So many blessings to you, beloved. Oh my God.